guys, it's Courtney with Your House Fitness, and we're going to go over a W raise, dumbbell W raise, okay? So there are a few different versions out there on the internet, okay? So lots of different names for a lot of different things, but we're gonna show you what a textbook W raise looks like, okay? It's basically a lateral shoulder raise where you have a bend in the elbow. So I'm gonna hold the weights like this out in front of me. So I'm gonna get into my athletic position, my soft knees, brace my core, shoulders back and down. Basically the same thing as a shoulder raise, like a lateral raise, but now I'm gonna keep my elbows bent, okay? And then from here, I'm gonna fly out to the side, okay? Squeeze my shoulders and bring everything back in. So it basically looks something like this, okay? So instead of having my arms out straight, I can keep my elbows bent. One bonus to this is that most people can go a lot heavier than they would be able to go if they had their arms straight. And there's less chance of straining in the neck if you keep your lever, right? My arm is shorter. So I can usually control and focus on my shoulders a lot more than if I was doing a straight arm. That's not for everybody, but that's for a lot of people, okay? Now, this looks pretty simple, okay? But I do need you to make sure that you don't go much higher than parallel to the floor, okay? So try not to lift any higher. I physically can't. I mean, my shoulders aren't gonna allow that, but there's no benefit to that. Don't be forcing anything past parallel. Again, bring it up, hold for a second, and bring it all back down, okay? You will feel this eventually in these guys, all right? There are a couple of versions out there though. You might see something called the W raise that looks like this, where you start in the front and you bring it up to like a W type position, or like I think somebody called it a champion position. So it looks something like this, okay? Again, not wrong, it's still a shoulder focused exercise, but you're getting more of a fly in there. So just again, you might come across a W raise that looks something like that. There are a lot of W raises too that you might see where people are laying on benches, okay? So sometimes you'll see something like this, pretend I'm laying on a bench here, okay? And they're basically doing a rear fly where they're leading with the head of the dumbbell. So instead of my knuckles flying, I've kind of externally rotated my arms a lot. Okay, so it's something that kind of looks like this, okay? And I'm kind of coming up underneath the bench. And then of course, the last one that I know as a W is basically where you're like this and you're reaching and you're pulling into a W position, okay? So this kind of idea, which some people will even do on the floor, okay? So again, I would start with this one as our textbook W raise, okay? And then from there, if you come across extras, or other exercises that are also called W raises, you might just have to come up with different names for all the exercises that you find. But I think the primary focus, of course, is still shoulders and back. So just make sure that whatever version that you've chosen, you understand the form. You make sure that your core is engaged. You make sure your shoulders are set in the proper position. But yeah, I think the idea is still the same, okay? So you need any other tips, you can take a look at the blog. And of course, any issues or questions, give us a shout, okay? All right, until next time, see ya.